In a small seaside village, there lived a boy named Kavi with his grandmother. Kavi had a strange habit. Whenever he felt sad, angry, or upset, he would write them down on small pieces of paper and put them into a glass bottle. The bottle became a place to store his hidden emotions. For Kavi, it was a way to ensure no one would see his sadness. He believed that if he locked these emotions away, they wouldn't hurt him anymore. Day by day, the bottle filled up, and Kavi felt lighter every time he added another piece of paper, unaware that he was nurturing an invisible burden. At first, Kavi saw the bottle as a silent confidant. Whenever something unhappy happened, he would write it down and put it in the bottle, feeling his heart lighten. He believed that holding on to all his emotions would help him grow stronger. However, over time, the bottle grew heavier. Every time he looked at it, Kavi no longer felt lighthearted, but instead, he felt tired, as if the sadness was silently pulling him down. He continued, not stopping, because he feared that if he didn't lock his emotions away, they would spill out and drown him. But what Kavi didn't realize was, the fuller the bottle became, the heavier his soul felt. One afternoon, while sitting by the beach, Kavi met an elderly stranger who was drawing in the sand. Seeing Kavi's sadness, the old man asked, "What do you carry in your heart that weighs you down?" Kavi told him about the bottle filled with papers and emotions. The old man listened quietly and then smiled, saying, "Emotions aren't meant to be kept forever. If you keep carrying everything, you won't have room for new joy." Kavi remained silent, his heart beginning to waver. The old man's words were like a small light piercing through the darkness Kavi had kept for too long. It was the first time Kavi asked himself, "Am I living too much in the past?" That night, Kavi returned to his room, staring at the glass bottle filled to the brim with pieces of paper. He tried to lift it, and for the first time, clearly felt how heavy it was. He opened the cap, took out a few pieces of paper, and read them, filled with sadness, disappointment, and fear he had once experienced. Suddenly, he felt suffocated. Those emotions hadn't disappeared. They had only remained still, weighing heavily on his mind all this time. He held the bottle to his chest, tears streaming down his face. In that moment, he realized, to lighten his heart, it wasn't about hiding the sadness. It was about learning to let go. The next morning, Kavi took the bottle to the beach. The waves still gently lapped the shore, like nature whispering a secret. He opened the bottle, took out each piece of paper, and let them be carried away by the wind, allowing the waves to take them. Each paper that flew away felt like releasing a burden from his heart. He felt lighter, no longer weighed down as before. When the last piece of paper left his hand, Kavi smiled. For the first time in a long while, the sunlight shone on his face, warm and full of hope. He was no longer the same person. Now he chose to live for the present, no longer bound by the past. Since that day, Kavi lived more lightly and openly. He still wrote, but this time his words were filled with gratitude and joy. The old bottle remained by his side, but instead of holding pain, it was now filled with the warm rays of life. Kavi's story reminds us that letting go doesn't mean forgetting. It means learning to move on with a light heart and eyes focused on the future.